Welcome to Curtain Up, a show that looks at current theater productions in the Bay Area and occasionally beyond. I'm Alan Stern, and this is my co-host, Greg Smith.
Hello. Good to be here.
Greg, you're looking sparkly as usual, but I kind of wish you had saved this jacket for a day when we're talking about a baseball play, like Take Me Out.
Well, that's true. That would make sense. I call it my Lovey Howell goes to a baseball game jacket. But thank you. You know, you do what you have to do. It's great to be back here after a month off. We have a literally packed show for you today. We're going to discuss The Reservoir, a terrific new play that recently opened at the Berkeley Rep, and also has roots in Colorado, where I'm from and where Alan once lived. We'll also be talking about our theater adventures outside of the Bay Area during our month off, including a trip to London, which was fantastic.
But first, we'll be speaking with the director of a new adaptation of Little Women. You know, Greg, living in the Bay Area, we have access to a wealth of resident theater companies serving audiences from San Jose to the East Bay to Marin County. In fact, 3 of those companies have received the coveted Tony Award for Outstanding Regional Theater. They include the ACT in San Francisco, which was recognized in 1979, the Berkeley Repertory Theater, which received the award in 1997, and most recently, TheaterWorks, which won the award in 2019. And today we're talking about 2 of those theater companies. So first up is TheaterWorks, just down the street in Mountain View, which kicks off its 2025 to 26 season with a new version of Little Women. It begins previews on September 24th and runs through October 12th.
The production is directed by Giovanna Sardelli, who is also TheaterWorks artistic director. And we are lucky enough to have her here in the studio today. So let's bring her on. Welcome.
Hello.
Good to see
Hello.
you.
Great to meet you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Please sit. Yes.
So, why Little Women?
You know what? Okay, I asked myself the same question. Little Women was commissioned by 4 theaters. So it started off with People's Light in Pennsylvania. And then it went to Northlight in Illinois, and they called me because I know both of the ADs, and they said, we're doing Little Women with Lauren Gunderson.
Okay.
And I confess, my first thought was, does the world need another Little Women?
And when you say it was commissioned, you mean this new version by a new playwright?
Yes, so Lauren Gunderson was commissioned to adapt Louisa May Alcott's Little Women. Sorry, I wasn't clear about that. But, and then I have to say, I read Lauren's adaptation, and the answer became a resounding, the world needs this adaptation of Little Women right now. We are having the best time telling this story, and Lauren has done something incredibly special to make it meaningful right now.
So there is a distinctive take on the story.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Can you give us a hint as to where it goes?
Well, Louise herself is a character.
Oh, interesting.
So that helps. So it's placed in its historical context with who she was and how the story came to be, which gives it such a contemporary relevance in a way that I didn't expect. And and that's what I think Lauren, of course, is known for writing smart, capable, funny, bold women. So this is her wheelhouse.
Wow.
Okay.
Fabulous.
So, you know, the version of Little Women that I'm most familiar with is the recent one directed by Greta Gerwig. And that had a similar take to what you described.
It did. I think the difference is, so Lauren's telling is very theatrical. So it takes advantage of the things you can only do in a theater. And I think, I love Greta Gerwig's adaptation or her story, but what happens in a theater and what happens with this play is so special. It is truly a celebration of theater and of our ability to tell stories in the moment, live with an audience. So that's what I think. We've watched the movie as research, and we're doing the play, and I love both. So seeing both, I think, is good.
Are you familiar with some of the classic versions of Little Women?
Katharine Hepburn.
Yes. And June Allison. I like doing my June Allison imitation. I have to work that in. I can do a Katharine Hepburn imitation, too.
Oh, that's very good.
Well, thank you. What do you think about that in terms of like differences for people who may be more familiar with, the classic film version or more recent,
or even the Winona Ryder version.
with
All
Susan
of them.
Sarandon
Listen,
also,
we watched them all.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Because they all were kind of their time and very special.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Katharine Hepburn one is so great.
Yeah.
I mean, Katharine Hepburn is probably Jo, the character of Jo incarnate. But again, I think most of us have seen and love all of those. And this one, because it's for the theater, because it's happening on stage, and because Lauren is really writing for the craft of theater, there's something really special happening. Wow. It's narrated, it's really an homage to the book while being the story that we know and love, told as we know and love it.
Yeah. I've never read the book.
I haven't either.
Well, come to theater. You don't need to.
No, okay, that's right.
Come see our production.
I used to have a friend when I was a kid, a neighbor, and a girl. She was a girl at that time, and she was an inveterate reader, and she used to brag that she read Gone with the Wind 12 times and Little Women 25 times.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was a big book for young girls to read.
Yeah.
Very much.
But less so for boys.
Yeah.
And but what's interesting is actually we discovered it was hugely popular among boys.
Really?
Because they had never seen themselves presented in the characters Laurie.
Yeah.
And John. So we didn't know that. I assumed it was just really popular among girls, but it wasn't. And the thing about Lauren's adaptation, one of the characters, Max Takis, who plays Laurie in this, actually said how refreshing it was to present a male character on stage like this. Somebody who's loving, healthy, whose greatest love is loving the women before him. And I thought that was really special. And I think young men especially need to see themselves reflected like that on stage.
And Laurie, isn't that the character that Timothée Chalamet played in the movie?
Yes.
Wow.
So your actor has something to live up to there.
They all do. Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah, that's true. June Allison.
Chalamet. I mean, Greta Gerwig. We're all trying, and Louisa May Alcott herself. We're all trying to reach great heights here.
Right.
But not the stereotypically masculine, super competitive kind of idea. Yeah, and that's refreshing.
It is refreshing. I really think it is. And all the men in the show are decent, kind, good, complex. They're all complicated characters, but and I do think that's it's essential to see that.
Yeah, that healthy.
Now, you said this has been done by other theater companies who jointly commissioned it.
Yes.
Have you seen those productions?
Only one has happened, so we jointly commissioned it. Northlight went first. We all are doing world premieres.
Oh, yeah.
So we're the second.
Wow.
We're the second theater to do it. So that's very exciting.
Yeah.
And then already it hasn't even been released to the public.
I see.
And still, I think 4 theaters are asked for special permission to do it this season. And I'm sure next season, when it is available, there will be hundreds of theaters doing this show.
So do you have any idea how your directorial approach compares with the version that's already been done?
Oh, yeah. They were very different, and we did that on purpose. I flew out, loved the production in Northlight.
Yeah.
And I said to Lauren, okay, you've seen that. You get another pass. What are we going to do differently? So we, my specialty, my strengths are very different than the director of the Northlight production. So we did a different take that I think is I'm so proud of what we're doing. I think it's elegant and funny and charming. So I'm really excited to show Lauren the breadth of her play and how it can be told in so many different ways.
In different interpretations.
Yeah, and I'm sure the next 2 theaters will do something different.
Wow, exciting.
I don't think Greg and I are familiar with Lauren Gunderson, so can you tell us a little bit about her?
Yeah, no.
Lauren, up until very recently, was a Bay Area playwright whose plays, I think, consistently are on the most produced plays in American theater.
Oh, okay.
We produced her play Silent Sky, which really launched her career. She's done Book of Will. She's one of those playwrights who you may not realize how many plays you've seen that she has adapted. This season, we have 2 Lauren Gunderson plays in our season. We're also doing, she wrote with Margot Melkin, Georgiana and Kitty, Christmas at Pemberley, a whole series inspired by Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. And we didn't expect to do 2 Lauren Gundersons, but she's so prolific. She finished Little Women a year before anybody thought she would.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So, in order to do the world premiere, we had to put it in this year's season. And I actually am so proud of starting our season off this way because it's our commitment to playwrights living, working, and writing today. So it's a new telling of a classical story, and I think it's the perfect way for TheaterWorks to start their season. Our season. I get to say ours.
Yeah, your season, exactly.
And, well, let's talk a little bit about your role as artistic director.
Yeah.
So you just became AD, is that what they talk it?
Yes.
A couple of years ago, right?
Yes.
And how is this the first time you've been artistic director of a theater company?
Yes, I had a glorious, beautiful life as a freelance artistic director, and I loved it. I somehow made it to being an official member of AARP without ever having a full-time job, and then they got me.
That's great. Yeah.
And honestly, I would never have done it if it wasn't this company at this time.
At this time.
But I love TheaterWorks. I was a part-time employee doing New Works. I was the director of New Works for a decade.
Okay.
And then when the AD position, when they needed somebody to step in, I was interim for a brief, maybe a week, maybe 2, before I became the official artistic director.
Wow.
And I'm thrilled. So it meant I had to move here, which I love. So I'm getting to know
You
the
moved from New
community.
York, right?
New York. Well, the pandemic slid me back home to Las Vegas.
Okay.
So I still had my New York apartment until a year and a half ago.
Okay. Okay.
But now I'm official. Now I have one home
In the Bay Area.
in the
Here.
Bay Area, right
Yeah.
here. So this is where I am now.
And remind us, what's the budget of a season for TheaterWorks?
We are operating around 9 million. We're a 9 million
Okay.
company.
Okay.
Sometimes more. But 9 is safe.
So what are some of the things you've had to deal with that you never had to face before?
Oh
when
God,
you were
what
a
is this? Is this
freelancer?
water?
We've talked about that before. Maybe we need something else.
Well, I mean, as you know, the pandemic decimated.
So we're thinking.
Decimated theater. And just in the Bay Area alone, how many theaters have closed? I mean, Aurora closed just a few weeks ago. So what we had to face when I became artistic director, interim, they needed somebody because Tim Bond, who was our artistic director, left to run Oregon Shakespeare Festival.
Oh, okay.
So it's been like the Game of Thrones in the
Moving
business,
around.
everyone moving different places.
Yeah.
And I became artistic director, and then was very quickly learned that we had a $3.5 million deficit, and that if we didn't solve it, we would close. And unlike so many theaters in America who have had to put a plea to their community to save them, our community did. Stepped up, and because of that, we are now financially stable enough to our existence is not in question. I mean, the world provides many gifts, so who knows? But right now, we are a theater company that actually recovered because of our community.
Wow, that's great.
And so the seasons we have picked since I became AD, this season, next season, we are gifts to our community.
Yeah,
We're really trying, everything we do is a thank you.
And especially in these fraught post-COVID and political times. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. We look forward to seeing the production. I know
yes.
you have a rehearsal to run to, so
I do.
we'll let you go.
We're so excited,
Thank
though.
you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you so much for
stopping in.
having
Yes,
me.
lovely meeting you.
And the Vegas in me loves being near the sparkles.
thank
I
you.
feel great. What a great way to start a day. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
We'll be right back. Now on to our second Tony Award-winning theater, the Berkeley Rep.
Yes. Last weekend, Alan and I saw the opening play of their 2025-2026 season, The Reservoir, by a young playwright named Jake Brash. It's set in Colorado, where I'm from and where Alan has lived, and is partially based on the playwright's own struggles with addiction after he was expelled as a student from NYU.
The main character is a gay, half-Jewish young man named Josh. vis-a-vis Jake, who, like the playwright, left NYU and went back home to Colorado to get sober and try to put his life back together.
Yeah.
The play deals with serious themes, but it does it largely through humor as we watch Josh face his demons and navigate his fraught relationship with his family.
And I've just got to mention, as a college counselor, I'm very interested in the NYU angle of this too, and the way his life trajectory is working out. Had to say that. But the play also seems to be the hot theatrical property of 2025. It's already been produced by major theaters in Denver, Atlanta, and Los Angeles, and early next year, it will have its New York debut.
And Greg, I think this is where we disclose to our viewers that we have a connection of sorts to the playwright. You and I last year were at a Yom Kippur Break the Fast in Denver, and Jake Brash's parents were also there.
Kind of a 2 degrees of separation kind of thing.
Yes. I think I said hello to them, but that's about it. And in any case, we don't know Jake. We've never met or communicated with him.
No.
So I think we've done our bit of transparency and can go ahead and discuss the show.
I think so.
So, Greg, what did you think?
Well, I really enjoyed it. I think most, if not all of us, can relate to issues of addiction. Whether or not we've experienced them ourselves, at least we've most likely had friends and or relatives who have dealt with addiction or are still in lifelong struggles with one addiction or another. I certainly can relate personally, and can understand now, I think, from my life experience, what addiction can do, not just to the addict himself or herself or themselves, but to the people who love that addict. And I think the play was very accurate based on my experiences. Anyone who's been through something like this will recognize their situation, I think.
Yeah. I like the play also. And, I've read a couple of reviews that basically said, do we really need another addiction and recovery play? That's kind of like saying, do we need another romantic comedy or do we need another dysfunctional family drama? I mean, those are basic genres, and what counts is the specifics of the story, how you tell it, and how well. And I think what makes the Reservoir distinctive is its humorous and very relatable point of view, and especially the angle that focuses on the way Josh relates to his 4 grandparents, all of whom are dealing with the challenges of aging, including Alzheimer's and dementia. Yeah.
And also, I think you're right. Those are themes of life. I mean, so yeah, we can always use more stories along these lines.
Yeah,
for sure.
And all 4 grandparents are characters in the play, and he draws a contrast between each pair because one of them, one pair is Jewish and the other pair is Protestant. So he has the Protestant grandparents with the backstory that they had a farm in Nebraska, I think. Yeah. And whereas the Jewish grandparents who are divorced, one of them, the grandfather decides to have his second bar mitzvah because he's reached the age of 83, and the explanation, I think, is that you're only expected to live 70 years, so if you make it another 13, then you can have another bar mitzvah.
And is that a thing? I mean, is that?
I've never heard of that, but
I never have either. Maybe. Well, you could think about it in the future.
And then his relationship with his Jewish grandmother is also very important, and in fact, she turns out to be, I would say, the most important of the grandparents in terms of her role. Yeah.
And who doesn't love a good Jewish grandmother?
Well,
we all do.
Yeah. And as played by Pamela Reed, she doesn't have those stereotypes that we might associate with Jewish grandmothers.
Right. But she's great. She's fabulous.
But one thing that really pleased me about the play is how polished it is. I mean,
very.
Jake Brash has a great sense of humor, and the humor develops organically out of the characters. Most of the play takes place in his head as he tells us his story of addiction and recovery, and the scenes move very fluidly and naturally, and I think that's partly the the work of the director Mike Donahue.
And it's not. It's never mean. It's never overly sentimental. It's not just trying obviously to tug at your heartstrings. It's just kind of natural. And again, I mean, I think most people can relate to the experiences this young man has had, and his grandparents have had and are having, in a very natural way.
Yeah. And I think we need to answer a question that viewers might have is, why is the play called The Reservoir? Well, okay, it's metaphorical because it refers to this theory that Jake comes across about how he can help his grandparents stave off old age and feebleness by developing a reserve or reservoir of mental and physical strength, and he has them doing exercises and brain teasers and changes their diet. He has them eat a lot of spinach.
Yeah.
But I think the reservoir also refers to a real reservoir, which is the Cherry Creek Reservoir in
Colorado,
Denver,
where we're from.
where Jake tends to hang out when he's on one of his benders.
One of his benders.
Yeah.
And let me just say one thing about the kind of natural remedy that he's promoting for his grandparents. That kind of thing seems to be ascendant right now, which is interesting. But also the treatment of Alzheimer's for me was almost shocking, not in a bad way shocking, but I was really confronted when the scenes start to happen where the characters are dealing with Alzheimer's by how realistic the portrayal was. And again, it just was right there. It kind of hit you. And another thing, as with addiction, sooner or later, all of us are going to have to deal with Alzheimer's. Hopefully not, well, we may. Ourselves, we can all develop it, or we have relatives or friends. That's just going to happen in life. And I thought it was great to see it. It made me think there's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. There's nothing to hide with Alzheimer's. We just need to confront it, as with any issue in life.
Right.
And I thought it was beautifully done, too.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the acting.
Yeah.
So Ben Hirschhorn has the lead role. He plays Jake. And, he's playing a character who has a lot of flaws.
Yeah, a lot of issues.
Jake is, he lies to his parents constantly. He has this easy job at a bookstore.
And manages to mess that up.
Right. He just has to alphabetize the books. He's not very kind to his coworkers.
No.
And I think there's definitely a risk with this character that he could be too off-putting for the audience, or on the other hand, maybe too charming. And I think Ben Hirschhorn does a very good job of treading that fine line between the two.
And again, in my experience, that's not unusual for an addict to kind of go back and forth from the charm to the challenging part of his or her personality. I think he really nailed that, actually.
Yeah. So I think you and I are in agreement that The Reservoir is well worth seeing. It's funny, entertaining, literate, and moving. And it's great to witness the first major work of a talented new playwright.
Exciting. The Reservoir is playing at the Berkeley Rep through October 12th, and we highly recommend that you go see it. Okay,
we only have a few minutes, but I thought we could talk a bit about our theater excursion to London.
Yes, that we just did on our time off.
Right.
I was there with Alan. It was absolutely fantastic. I saw 4 plays. And you also saw 4 plays, but we didn't.
I think so, but not all the same.
Not all the same. Not all the same.
Right.
The first production that we did see together, the first thing we want to talk about was a fabulously entertaining show, The Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah. Starring Miss Vanessa Williams,
a national treasure of the United States. We're now sharing her with the world with her work in London. She is captivating and wonderful, and the whole cast was great. I mean.
Yeah, it's a fun production. It's by no means a great show.
No, it's not going to be the most memorable show you're ever going to see.
And I think I read that the producers aren't sure whether it'll play on Broadway. So I don't even know if it'll come to Broadway. But it has songs by Elton John, but they're not very memorable.
No, they're not that memorable. For the moment while you're in the theater, they're catchy, they're fun. Of course, the costumes and the sets are magnificent. And again, seeing Vanessa Williams.
It's just a good time, and it's great to see Vanessa Williams.
Yeah.
And you also saw Evita, which I did not.
I saw Evita, and that was spectacular. I've seen Evita many times. I saw it with Patti LuPone many years ago, which I think you did,
Yes,
too,
I did too.
of course. Rachel Zegler was fantastic, absolutely magnetic. I mean, her singing, the way she looks, the way she acted. I love the whole premise of it, too. I mean, all the actors were good. It doesn't have a lot of sets. It sort of just relies on the singing and the acting to evoke Buenos Aires in the 1930s and 40s, you know, without the signs, you know, the trabajadores signs and stuff that are in many productions. And it worked really well.
You know, the same director, Jamie Lloyd, also did Sunset Boulevard.
Oh, yeah.
With Nicole Scherzinger, which I saw on Broadway, and it was great. And similar concept where very little set design, a lot of emphasis on video.
Yeah.
And the lead actresses both spend most of the time in their underwear.
Yes, which is kind of interesting. And they both have the moment where they go out in a dress. Part of it takes place, the action takes place outside the theater.
Well,
right?
in Sunset Boulevard, it's the man, Joe Gillis.
The man, but in this case,
outside.
it's Rachel Zegler goes and sings to the crowd outside the theater in London. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And then finally, you and I saw a wonderful play called Born with Teeth.
Sounds like a dental drama, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it's produced by the Royal Shakespeare Company. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes to New York because it's a great production, and it's written by an American playwright who based it on the recent discovery or consensus that Shakespeare's Henry VI Part 2 and 3 plays were actually a collaboration between Christopher Marlowe and William Shakespeare. And so the playwright, Liz Adams Duffy, or Liz Duffy Adams, I'm sorry. Oh, Liz Duffy Adams.
Duffy Adams.
Okay. She imagines the two writers getting together over a course of 3 years to collaborate on these plays, but there's amid a background of political and sexual intrigue,
which is really interesting and takes off. No, I agree, and I like both parts of it, or enjoyed both parts of it, but the intrigue. I don't normally think of the Elizabethan era as a time of a lot of state control, but apparently it was, although it was also a golden age for the UK, or for Britain. But that comes across. I mean, the tension that they're experiencing because of
because during the reign of Elizabeth, the Church of England had only been established by her
father.
Her father, and there were lots of Britishers who wanted to stay Catholic. They didn't want to become Anglican, and so apparently she established like a secret police to spy on people and make sure they were really Anglican.
Yeah. So it was really interesting, and the degree to which the secret police went to ensure that was I just had not really been aware of it, so it was really interesting.
And the actors in Born with Teeth were played by. This pronunciation is a little difficult. It's I think it's pronounced Scooty Gatwa.
Yeah.
And Edward Blumell.
Yeah.
And Scooty Gatwa, you may know from the Netflix series Sex Education. He plays the black gay best friend, and he was a revelation on stage.
He was wonderful.
He has such magnetism and electricity, and he plays a role like with the grace and menace of a panther.
He does, and just kinetic. It's just he's moving and it's happening and he's speaking and the Shakespeare character almost doesn't know how to handle him. He's just so much. It was fabulous. Yeah, really exciting. Kept you going.
So we had a great week or so in London seeing theater, and can't wait to go back.
Yes, it was fabulous. Absolutely. Anyway. And if I could just quickly say, I also saw a production of Cabaret that was fantastic in London too. Recreated Weimar Berlin, and that one and the theme of the Shakespeare Marlowe play has some resonance for us today.
Yeah.
So anyway, food for thought.
Right. Okay. Well, that wraps up our show for this month. We're planning to be back in mid-October when the fall theater season is in full swing.
Yes.
Until then, we'll see you at the theater.